Yes, that is a Lamborghini Urus behind me. It's actually my best friend's. He's a property multimillionaire. He has a Lamborghini Urus. He has a Lamborghini Aventador S. He has a Lamborghini Huracan Evo. He has a Ferrari 488 Spider, an Audi R8, and a Range Rover, two Range Rover SVR. So yes, he's pretty well off. Now I'm going to talk about what financial lessons I've learned from him. But before we do that, let's take a look at how much one of these costs. As you can see, it has absolutely lovely interior. So this Lamborghini Urus actually cost £219,000. There was a £20,000 deposit that was put on it. The monthly payments are £3,000 and the insurance for the year was around £4,000. So that is a hell of a lot of money. It's a beautiful car. Let's talk about how my friends actually afforded this. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, this is just one big old liability. I mean, £290,000, that is a lot of money, especially if you're an average Joe like me. One thing I'm going to let you in on is it's actually an asset, not a liability. And the reason being is this car is actually available to hire out. So my friend actually bought this car for £219,000. Yes, he did put in £20,000 of his own money and the bank lent him the rest. And he hires this out every single day, every week, every month, and he makes money. So it actually provides him cash flow. And that's one of the biggest things in personal finance and wealth. It is, you need to have assets producing you income. So what financial lessons has my best friend taught me over the years? I'm going to give you 2 or 3 financial lessons, and these will stick with you forever because they stuck with me also. The first thing he told me when I first met him was improve your credit score. Now, growing up, I was always told that credit cards are bad. Debt is bad. You shouldn't have it. You shouldn't have a credit card, and you should just pay monthly on debit cards. And that was something that I think most of us are taught growing up. We don't really know the value of credit scores. Well, I didn't, especially. My friend told me from day one, Aaron, get a credit score and improve it. Now, some of the ways that I've improved my credit score over the years, and I'm going to explain why a credit score is important. I got a credit card when I think I was 20 or 21 years old, and what I was advised to do was whenever I top up fuel in my car, just put it on the credit card, and after the entire month just pay it off, pay the whole entire credit card off. That's showing the world and the banks that you are good for credit, that you can spend on credit, you can lend money, and you can also afford to pay it back, and that builds up your credit score. Now you can use platforms such as Experian or ClearScore as well is a good one, and that will show your credit score. So over the period of 6 months to a year, it will improve. It's a very quick one. Make sure that you like, share and subscribe. It really helps me and supports me. It lets YouTube know that it is valuable content. Guys, I'm just trying to help you level up in life, to help you get to where maybe I've got or where people further than me have got. It all starts with a leap of faith and installing new knowledge. So maybe you want to buy a vehicle to put on hire, just like this vehicle here. My friend went to the bank and he said, listen guys, I want to buy a £219,000 car. My deposit is £20,000. That's my money. I need to lend the rest from you. Have a look at my history. You know I'm good for paying the money back. And they said, yep, Mr. XYZ, here's your money, and you can go away and do it. Now that gives you leverage. There's a term in personal finance, well, in the world of finance really, and it's called other people's money, OPM. What you're doing is you've saved up that £20,000-30,000 maybe for a buy-to-let property, or for you know maybe you want a supercar like this, and the rest of the money is lent to you by the bank. And you just have to figure a way to make money off that asset so that you can pay the bank back and you can put some in your back pocket. So please get a credit card and spend responsibly. That doesn't mean designer goods. That doesn't mean fancy trips. There is no return on that investment. You need to lend money from banks, other people's money, and put it into income producing assets such as this. I know what you're thinking. My friend probably has a £3 million mansion. He goes to Dubai 25 times a year. He's got all these designer goods. He eats at the poshest restaurants. I am telling you that couldn't be further from the truth. My friend is genuinely one of the most humble, down-to-earth people that I know. He lives in a normal terrace house, believe it or not, which is just on the outskirts of Birmingham. He drives day-to-day, drives a normal car. He doesn't really have any fancy goods or designer goods. And he does a lot of charitable work as well. He spends most of his time working, and he probably goes on 2 or 3 holidays a year. Just that is a tip in itself. He's living within his means, and that's the other tip, is live within your means. Now, I don't know the exact figures, but let's just say my friend's earning 50 or 60,000 pound a month. He lives as if he's earning 5,000 pound a month. Now, 5,000 pound a month, still a lot of money, but when you're earning 50 and 60,000 pound a month, you know, you can easily afford a private jet in terms of travel, hire a private jet to travel, go on holidays all the time and, you know, live the big life. But he doesn't. He's living within his means. He probably spends around 5,000 pound a month. That's his going out, that's his clothes, that's his bills, and so on and so forth. The rest of the money he tucks away a lot, so he saves a lot. Then the rest of it he'll reinvest back into property. And that's another tip for you, is the money that comes in, put some away, and then the rest of it invest. Put some away and invest, put some away and invest, because all those investments are going to add up and ultimately bring you cash flow. Passive cash flow is the key to a free life. Remember that. People that are working and 9-to-5s and so on and so forth, they trade time for money. They work an hour and they get paid for that hour. Maybe it's minimum wage. What rich people do is they don't work for money. They make money work for them. And that's another trick, is you want to make your money work for you. Like I said, if you build up your credit score over the years, you build up some savings, 15, 20,000 pounds, maybe deposit, you can go and get a buy to let property. The bank will give you the rest of the money and that will bring you income every single month. I have a rental property, which I don't mind talking about. And it brings us around £200 profit every single month after the mortgage is paid. Again, there's a tenant in our property that's paying the mortgage, that's paying all the bills, and at the end of the month we're left with that surplus. Plus the mortgage that's being paid is equity in the property that we can pull out at any point. So we personally put £21,000 into that property. Let's say in 10 years time there might be £40,000 or £50,000 in that property, plus the rental income that we've been making all those years. It's very powerful stuff. Below I'm going to be linking a book that absolutely changed my life when I was 21 years old. A friend of mine introduced me to Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is by a guy called Robert Kiyosaki. He's a serial entrepreneur and you probably already know of him. He has a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's about his story growing up. He had a poor dad, which was his own dad. And when he says poor, he was pretty well off, but he worked a job. He was trading time for money. And in Robert Kiyosaki's eyes, that's a poor man. Then he had a rich dad, which was his best friend's dad. And he was a rich dad. He had businesses, he had hotels, he had property, and he was just free. He had loads of time to do what he wanted because he's invested in assets. That is a book that you absolutely need to read. Also remember, it is against the status quo. Now, I grew up where my mom worked a regular job, my dad worked a regular job. All they knew was to save and maybe enjoy it when you're 65 or 70 years old, when you're practically too old to be doing skydiving or anything that you really wanted to do. You have too many liabilities and commitments at that moment in time. I'm actually going to leave you with this, guys. Listen to the people that have the results that you want. Now, growing up when I was in my 20s, I had to rebel against my family. That doesn't mean I was playing up and being naughty. I had to go against with what they told me. They told me to get a job and to save up and get married and get a mortgage. And then before you know it, I'm working until I'm 16, 70 years old and I've got around 10, 15 years to enjoy it. I had to change that image, that perception in my head of what success looked like. And it's brought me all the way here. It's brought me to places that I never thought I'd be. No one in my family has ever achieved what I've achieved. I'm the first person to do it, and I'm going to go on to achieve bigger and better things. And it's all down to knowledge. Sometimes we get bogged down by what our loved ones say, our friends and family. They do have good intentions. They're just trying to protect you from the unknown. But honestly, the unknown is where the growth takes place. You need to take that leap of faith, and you never know where it will lead you. So start to listen to those that have the results that you want. I was growing up listening to people around me that had results that I absolutely didn't want. Now, there's nothing wrong with what they had. It just wasn't for me. I knew I was destined for bigger things, and I had to start learning from different people. I had to start installing new knowledge. So guys, remember, constantly install new knowledge into your brains. The world's moving so fast. What you knew yesterday is no longer applicable today. There's a new software, there's a new piece of technology, there's a new philosophy every single day. You need to keep up with the times. Below, I'm going to be linking some stuff to help you on your journey. Maybe you're starting out in entrepreneurship, maybe you've just started a business, or maybe you're in a job and you want to get out of it. So I'm going to link some things below. They will truly help you. Go through them one by one and see which ones apply to you. For now, I'm going to enjoy this Lamborghini.